all up in the grill. Just doing a little sound check. We're gonna get started here in a bit. About to get meta. We're gonna get started here Thule, Kylie, what's up, LDB? I'm gonna get on my mat. I've muted the Zoom room. Will y'all, whoever's in the chat on Facebook, let me know if you can hear me. And then I'm gonna unmute the Zoom so they don't get scared. Oh, sick. Okay. Yo. All right. We're gonna get started in 1 minute, y'all. Don't be worried. I'm muting this mic, so if I'm talking, I'll be right back. Hey, Aaron. Yay, awesome. Thank you, Caitlin. Good to know. Good to know. All right, we're gonna start. I'm gonna close this out. I'm gonna unmute this, and we'll just get going. Ooh. Also, I'm triple simulcasting, broadcasting this thing on 3 different platforms. Feels pretty cool. What's up, Stephanie? Tally, hi everyone. Any requests, Zoom peeps?
Hamstring?
Yeah, I need some hips and hamstrings. I've been going on like 5 walks a day. Homies on the YouTube and Facebook stream, if I'm looking up, it's because I'm chatting to the Zoom folks. Hi Melba, good to see you.
Hi.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started. So I'm gonna mute all y'all. No hard feelings. Or I don't. Let me see if I can even do that. Mute all. Boop. Okay. All right, it's going down, y'all. Hey Ryan, hey everyone. Thank you all for being here with me and with each other. My name's Ray, for those of you who I don't know personally. And we are going to do an alignment-based yoga class that is focused on the fundamentals, and it'll be a hip-oriented, hamstring-oriented practice, because I've been going on like 3 to 5 walks a day, some bike rides. I need some release. So, whew, it's hot in here, y'all. We can't run the AC because the wind gets picked up on the microphones, and it's like a sauna in here. So I'm having flashbacks to my hot yoga teaching days. So that'll be fun. Before we start class, I want to tell y'all about this book club that I am facilitating on Wednesday nights. It starts a week from tomorrow, and we're going to be reading this book together in a Zoom room. And basically the format of the group read is that there's no outside reading involved. We'll have a room where people convene, and we'll go one at a time. Someone will read a paragraph or two and then pause, and then if anything comes up for anyone that they want to discuss, then we stop and discuss. So this book is called Meditations on the Tarot. I talk about it a lot, and I know most of you, so y'all are familiar with this book. But I wanted to tie in a bit of what the magician archetype is about into the practice tonight, because the magician archetype, you could also literally call it the yogi, basically. The practical teaching of the magician, which is the first chapter in the tarot book, which is the chapter that we're going to read in the book club. The practical teaching of the magician is: learn at first concentration without effort. Transform work into play. Make every yoke that you have accepted easy, and every burden that you carry light. And so that sounds pretty good to me. I want to approach life like that. And then the question is, well, how do you do that? And we'll just look at the first aspect of that teaching today. So, concentration without effort, and how that relates to yoga. Yoga Sutra, I believe it's 1.2, it says Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha, which means yoga is the cessation of the fluctuations of the mind. And so, how do you achieve the cessation of the fluctuations of mental substance? One thing that is necessary is that you have to have a conscious understanding of your will and of your somatic reality. So I learned just yesterday that somatic, the word somatic, also means it means instinctive moving center, or the thing that prompts the physical body. And so when we talk about like somatic healing, we're talking about coming into connection with the things that are hardwired into our physical body that we either brought with us into this world, or that accumulated when we were infants and before we even realized what was going on. Our body was taking a tally of what we were experiencing. And so to somatically heal means to first acknowledge those things about ourselves that have manifested in the physical body, even have been evolutionarily instantiated. And the first step to doing that is to be able to notice where sensations that we're experiencing reside in the body. And a way that we can do that is through the physical practice of yoga, is through tending to different parts of the body, creating controlled stress in specific places, and staying with that sensation and that intensity. So these alignment principles aren't just the building blocks to make like a fancy yoga pose that we can put on social media, but it's like these are tools that will connect us deeply with our body and the forces that have embedded themselves into the physical body. So Anyway, I'll end my rant there, and we can start the physical practice. So come to a nice comfortable seat. And relax your hands in your lap. I invite you to close your eyes if you like, or soften your gaze, and come into the awareness of your breath. And as you breathe deeply with awareness here, notice how sweet it is just to feel your breath moving in and out. And to me, what it feels like when I can remember throughout the day at any point to take a conscious breath and to give myself that relief and that sanctuary, to me it feels like I'm sheltering in grace. And so with your next inhalation, release the weight of your pelvis heavier on the floor and sit up taller. And then as you exhale, relax your shoulders onto your lifted rib cage. Join your hands together in front of your heart, Anjali Mudra. Lift your sternum to your thumbs, and then create a gentle downward pressure from your thumbs to your sternum so that you feel your back muscles start to engage right around the bottom tips of your shoulders. Now press your hands together and feel your midline. Feel the source of grace in this place that we can come home to within ourselves. If you'd like to set an intention for your practice, you can do so now. Just holding an ideal quality in your mind that you want to lay as the foundation for this entire practice. And let that quality settle at the center of your chest, where your hands are pressing together and your thumbs are pressing to your sternum. And then take a nice deep breath in through your nose and sigh it out. And bow your head to your hands. Lower your hands onto your knees. Lift your chin and open your eyes. All right, go ahead and lie down on your back. One thing I'm realizing about this whole sheltering in place thing is that I'm looking at screens a lot more. And so I'm going to invite you, if you want, to close your eyes for most or all of this practice. And I'm going to try to cue things in such a way that all you'll need to do what we're doing is the sound of my cues, just to give yourself a little break from looking at the screen, because I know I've been doing a lot of screen staring. So here we are, lying on our backs. Do a shelf position with your legs, so knees over your hips, shins parallel with the floor, and then just go ahead and fan out the bones of your feet. And then interlace your hands behind your head, so lift your head and maybe even your shoulders off the mat a little bit. And lift your chin a bit and lift up on the base of your skull and reach your elbows up and forward. Continue to do those actions in your upper body and come back to your feet. As you fan out the bones of your feet, imagine that you're going to pull your heels towards your hips, but don't move your heels. You just feel your hips stabilize and tone your inner thighs so you feel strength and stability in your legs and hips and your elbows reaching up and forward. And then now tone the sides of your waistline, so hug onto your spine. It's all about the actions, y'all. It's less about the poses, more about the actions. From here, hover your right heel above the front edge of your mat. So you bring it to a hover. You could also tap and then squeeze your knee back up. I've been doing this a lot, and I was happy to do it in Jen's class. Do the left heel. And she was talking about how it resembles running. Bring your knee back up, hover your right heel, squeeze your knee back up, and then hover your left heel. And squeeze your knee back up. And then right. And left heel. And then right, so you can feel kind of the rhythm that we're getting into. And left. And do one more time each side. All right, and then put your feet on the mat, heel toe your feet out to the edges of your mat. Knees are bent here. Make your inner knees touch. And then drop both knees over to the right. Now, fan out the bones of your feet. Pull from your inner knees to your inner groin. And then turn your upper inner thighs back so you feel a broadening come across your low back. All right, and then come on back to center. Drop your knees over to the left. Fan out the bones of your feet. Tone your inner thighs. Turn your upper inner thighs back. And then tune into the quality of expansion. Maybe it's a subtle expansion at the back of your hips when you turn your inner thighs back. And also reach your knees away from your hips energetically. Feel a nice stretch come to your hip flexors and the top of your thighs. And then come on back to center. Stack your knees over your hips again, shelf position with your legs. And now do a little internal rotation with your left leg. So your heel's going to swing out. And then external rotation and internal rotation and external rotation. So just doing a little, like you're drawing a lemniscate or a figure eight with your left knee. Just kind of feel that and see if you can't stabilize the right side really well. And just open the left knee out a little bit and draw that figure eight with your knee. And then stabilize with the left side. Take the right knee and do an internal rotation. So your foot is going to go wider than your knee, and then external rotation. And your ankle is going to come in narrower than your knee. And now start to draw that figure eight with your left knee. And let your ankle kind of trail your knee. And notice how the left side really wants to move, and it can subtly move, that's fine, but just make sure there's a bit more stability on the left side, so we're balancing this kind of like playful movement that's inherent in the springtime and this kind of restraint that we're all having to exert right now. Okay, and then come back to center and hug your knees in towards your chest. Reach your arms inside of your legs, grab the pinky edges of your feet, and if you want to take a happy baby right off the bat here, you can shine the soles of your feet up towards the sky. You can also just hold on to your shins if that's feeling better. Kick up into your hands, pull your feet down. If you're in happy baby, squeeze your knees in and press your elbows out. All right, then hug your knees in again. Awesome. Come back and do that shelf position with your legs. And now with both legs at the same time, just fan out the bones of your feet. Imagine you're going to pull your heels towards your hips, but they don't move.
And tone your inner thighs so your legs feel really strong and engaged. Tone your glutes, tone your waistline, relax your upper body, and then hover your heels with your knees bent. Let your belly splay open. Keep turning your inner thighs back and pull your heels towards your hips so you feel strong in your butt. And exhale, squeeze your knees back up. Draw your navel down, draw your low ribs down, and press your tailbone up towards your heels. All right, open, hover your heels, open your belly, and then squeeze your knees back up. Draw your navel down, draw your rib cage down. Do that 3 more times. Awesome, and then set your feet on the ground, heel toe your feet out, mats width distance apart, and drop your knees in. And then now just windshield wiper your knees from left to right. So what you might notice qualitatively there when we're doing this kind of like inverted cat-cow with the legs is that there's like kind of a sense of vulnerability and openness in the cow pose because we're opening our front body where all of our like vital organs are with not a lot of protection other than our rib cage. Right? But we're softening the belly and opening. And then when we come into that cat pose, come back to center. And let's just do this for a second. So reach your arms up towards the sky like you're going to do tabletop, but we're on our back, knees bent, and then extend your wrists. And now press up, tilt your tailbone up, draw your navel down, and feel this like repelling thing, that like get away from me type stuff. And now draw your shoulders back, tilt your upper back in, and turn your inner thighs back and kind of take your knees away from your wrists a bit. You kind of feel that open quality, and then you feel the other one. Hug your knees in. Let's do a little Bakasana so you can really feel like this is Bakasana, a little crow pose inverted, is like the next level of cat pose, like push away. Right, so try to get your knees up into your armpits, squeeze your knees onto your triceps, and press up and draw your navel down. So this should be kind of hard. All right, and then keep hugging your right knee into your chest and let your left leg extend long towards the front of your mat. Just give your knee a squeeze and kind of draw that figure 8. And as you're drawing the figure 8 with your right knee, stabilize with your left leg. Make your left leg active. See how it wants to roll around. And just kind of make it strong. Make it an anchor. All right, and then interlace your hands behind your hamstring with your leg up towards the sky. Flex your foot. Press your leg into your hands and resist with your arms. So rather than pulling in, you're kind of just making a stop for your leg with your interlaced hands. And it should feel like a nice kind of release on your low back. All right, and then we'll do a half happy baby here. So you'll bend your right knee and take the pinky edge of your foot in your right hand, pull it down. I've been very thankful for my ability, for my lunging practice, because I've been doing a lot of kicking doors open at my apartment complex because I don't want to touch the door, so I just boom it open, and I feel like I'm lunging every time before I load up for the kick. All right, let's take it into a twist. So bring your right knee across your body with the knee bent. Should feel good. And maybe we'll progress into a deeper variation here in a second if we want to. And then shift your hips back to the right. Cactus your arms. Press your left elbow down and to the left to lift your left shoulder up off the ground a bit and get your right shoulder to rest heavier on the floor. And then gaze over your right shoulder. All right, come on back to center. Just give your knee a squeeze and then release your right leg long towards the front of your mat. Hug your left knee in towards your chest. Give it a squeeze. Make your right leg a strong anchor. It's easier for me to do that when I flex my foot, so maybe that'll help you. And then we'll start to just kind of draw a little figure eight with the knee. And just kind of feel the head of your femur in the hip socket, let your ankle be light, and maybe the knee joint kind of opens and closes as you bounce it up and down. So this figure eight symbol is the shape of the magician's hat, and it represents, of course, infinity, so the connection with the infinite. Hug it in, left knee that is, and then interlace your fingers behind your hamstring, make that stop with your hands for your legs, and you press your leg forward into your hands. Resist with your shoulders and make your right leg a strong anchor as you flex your foot. And that infinity symbol is not only that figure eight symbol is not only infinity, but it's also respiration. So it's the inhale and the exhale. And then inhale again. All right, let's take the happy baby, half happy baby, or supine lunge, holding onto the pinky edge of your left foot with your left knee bent, right leg strong, turning your right inner thigh down, pull down on your left foot, and kick up into your hand. Hopefully you're feeling a nice openness come into the back of your left hip here. Or whatever you're feeling, feel it, be present with it. Tend to it with the intention of knowing it in a deeper way. All right, bend your knee into your chest and then guide your knee across your body, left knee over to the right. Shift your hips back over to the left. Cactus your arms. Press down and away with your right elbow to get your left shoulder heavier on the ground. Feel like a deeper twist. Awesome. Come on back to center. I've been really enjoying just taking our time to get up to the standing poses. So just spending some time down on the ground feels nice. So let's stay here for a bit. Roll onto your left side. And let's do a little Vishnu's couch. So ankles, knees, hips, shoulders, head, and left arm all in a line. And then you can lift your head up off of your arm and rest it in your hand. And now take this action of reaching your elbow away from you and squeezing your shoulder back, and then tone up your legs. And if you take your right arm off the ground and put it on your side body, you might feel like, hey, this is kind of difficult to balance. I've also gotten feedback here that sometimes your outer hip might feel tender, and so if that's the case, you can double over your mat, or you could lay on a blanket. But here we are in Vishnu's couch. We're just gonna post up for a moment, tone legs, tone glutes, draw the sides of your waist onto your spine, and do a slight upper abdominal crunch. Squeeze your shoulders back, reach your elbow away, lift your chin, and press your throat back a little bit. So we're doing like Tadasana actions in Vishnu's couch. Awesome. And then from here, hover your legs. Whoop. I had to make a little kickstand with my hand when I did that. And then kick your
top leg back and your bottom leg forward. And then, if you like, reach your right fingertips away from your right ankle. Now lift your left side body away from the ground and kick your feet further apart and tone your waistline more, and then reach as much as you can with your fingertips and kick your feet apart and tone your waistline and reach. And then come on down. Come onto your back, and now let's roll over to the right side. I don't want to turn my back on y'all, so I'm gonna just swing it on around, lie down on the right side, and let's get nice and lined up first, and even. Just post up, bend your elbow, rest your head in your right hand. Flexing the feet might be helpful here. You just take your arm onto your side body. So this is like the step one-ish of Vishnu's couch. And we're taking it into that splayed out direction. So brace yourself with your left fingertips, hover your legs, kick your top leg back and your bottom leg forward. You could keep your left fingertips here, or you could reach left arm alongside your left ear. Now tone your waistline and kick your feet apart and reach away with your right elbow, but keep your back strong. Do all the good like Tadasana actions, even here when you're splayed out. Strong legs, strong glutes, side body onto the spine, scapula retracted to balance the upper abdominal engagement, and then kick your feet apart, and then reach your left fingertips away from your left heel, and then kick your feet apart and reach and relax. All right, swing yourself up, do a nice seat. We doing all right? Cool. Awesome. All right, so let's come into tabletop real quick. And let's do a little bit of self-massage here. Just get some energy going down into the feet. So, you know, you can sit on your heels with your toes curled under to create a nice stretch for the bottoms of the feet. But another thing you can do is take the top of your right foot, like there's kind of like a sharp bone at the top of your right foot that you can put in the arch of your left foot, and then you can sit back onto your heels and just try to make a nice little compression that feels warm to me, captivating, a little intense. Makes me realize, makes me feel more deeply connected with the arch of my left foot. Okay, now let's switch it out and go to the other side, because that can be very intense. I'm hoping this is going to be therapeutic for me. So you go bone on the top of your left foot onto your right arch, and you just kind of lean your hips back onto your heels and control that intensity with your hands on the ground. I'm feeling way sharper sensation on this side. Okay, then lift your hips up off your heels. So you can also do this for calf smashing. So now you take the top of your right foot onto, like, let's go with the high part of the calf. So the meaty part, and kind of sit back. Woo-wee! Oh my, that's a good one. Okay, and lift your hips a bit, and then now just shift it so that your ankle or the top of your foot is at the lower part of your calf. Remember, be very careful. You never want the sensation to be so intense that you feel overwhelmed, like you can't be with what is coming up. All right, then lift your hips up. Switch it out. So left calf, or shin bone, ankle bone, top of the foot, into the meaty part of your right calf. Ease on because you can get real really quickly. And then come on up and take your shin bone, ankle bone down to the lower part of your calf. Alright, and then come on back to hands and knees, and let's do intentional hand placement. So start with your fingertips spreading wide, and then bring your base knuckles down and then press down and forward, and lightly rest the heels of your hands on the ground. So there's action in your hands, action in your arms. Go ahead and press down through the tops of your feet as well. And let's experience cow pose. So that kind of openness, that softness. And then cat pose, that whoa. Get away. All right, 6 feet. Just kidding. All right, neutral. Lift your right leg. Bend your knee. Flex your foot. Now, compensate for this shift in gravity by toning your outer left hip more and toning your waistline. And now just give some little pumps up with your right heel. Feel that. Stabilizing the base of your right glutes, strengthening. Right? It's a empowering feeling. All right. Now, draw that figure 8. And this is kind of like a mental challenge to say, am I drawing the figure 8? I think so. Okay. And now lift your left arm up and reach it up and forward while you're drawing the figure 8. Keep toning your outer left hip. And then reach out long in both directions. So left arm forward, right leg back, and now point your toes. And a lot of flexing, give a little point. Now put your left hand down, swing your right leg outside of your mat over onto the left side, with your toes curled under, and do a little stretch for your outer hip. Press your hands down and forward, press your right foot down and back, and even press down through the top of your left foot. Okay. You can come on back to center. Give yourself a little rest with your hands. Just sit for a moment. Give yourself the gift of conscious breathing, moment of inner silence. And come back to hands and knees. Claw the ground. Make your knuckles heavier than your wrists. And then lift your left leg up and back. 90-degree bend in your left leg. Tone your outer right hip and pump your left heel up. Tone your belly. So you could initiate the movement of this pulsation from the inner thigh side of your left leg. See what that feels like. Right at the root of the inner groin there. Pulse from there. Press your hands down and forward to feel more stable, and hug the midline with your outer right hip. And now, figure 8. Figure 8. Right arm forward. Keep figure 8. Whew, that's tough. And then extend left leg back, right arm reaches forward, you super long, hug the midline with your waist, and swing your left foot past the right side of your mat, curl your toes under, and press your left foot down and back, and your hands down and forward, and your right knee. I could go down and forward as well, or just straight down. Alright, and then come back to center, and sit for a moment, rest your wrists, and tune into an inner silence. If you closed your eyes, blink your eyes open. And I say an inner silence because I know that, when you got people at home with you, it's kind of hard to find silence, just in general. But another cool teaching from the magician is that there is this thing called the zone of perpetual silence that you can always tap into no matter where you're at if you've got the skill. Okay, so hands and knees, curl your toes under, downward facing dog. Now we're getting to the yoga poses. So with your hands shoulder width distance apart, spread your fingers, claw the ground, make your inner hand heavy. And as you press your inner hand down and forward, broaden laterally across your upper back. Keeping your inner hand heavy, turn the eyes of your elbows forward. Don't compromise the heaviness of your inner hand. And then stretch your hips up and back. Press your inner heels back and your outer heels down. Relax your head. And then as you're ready, gaze forward in between your hands and walk on up to the top of your mat, coming into Uttanasana. Softly bend your knees so that you can put your fingertips on the ground and your belly on your thighs. And then relax your head and put your awareness down into your feet. Press down through your big toe ball mount and your inner heel, and then your pinky toe ball mount and your outer heel. Instead of gripping the mat with your toes, just let them set heavily on the ground. So not really gripping, just heavy and taking up space. Now hug, muscle the bone in your legs. You could isometrically drag your heels back to get that tone of your hamstrings and your glutes. Yeah, and then tone at your inner thighs as well. Now keeping your belly on your thighs and your head relaxed. Press your hands down and forward and see if you can just ease your legs. Maybe just a little straighter, maybe not, doesn't really matter. Again, we're just engaging and deepening consciously. Now hold your center of gravity where it's at, and as you inhale, pull the ground towards you, lengthen your spine. And what feels different here? Exhale and fold. Inhale and lengthen your spine. Exhale and fold. Inhale, lengthen. So spine's coming out parallel with the floor. Bring your hands onto your hips. Point your elbows up. Stand up. And release your arms. Samastitihi. Standing in mountain pose at the top of your mat. Place your feet either hips width distance apart or legs together. And then do that same work that you did in your feet in Uttanasana, where you go big toe ball mounts down, inner heel down, pinky toe ball mount down, and outer heel down. Tone your legs, tone your glutes, tone your waistline. Press your tailbone down, do a little upper abdominal crunch, and then squeeze your shoulders back. Lift your chin, press your throat back. Close your eyes or soften your gaze. As you breathe here in mountain pose, feel physical body and your breath. How does that all relate? All right. And then blink your eyes open. Go ahead and bring your legs together if they aren't already. And then sit deep into chair pose. So deep or deep-ish. Do just a little chair pose. And now especially tone your legs and kind of lean back a little bit so you feel your glutes kind of turn on to catch you. All right, and tone your waistline. Take your low ribs back. Take your inner shoulder back, outer elbow back. Lift your chin, press your throat back. Stretch out through your fingertips. Shift onto your right leg. Lift your left leg up. And then from here, bend your elbows. Just give yourself a little balance. And kind of do the dancing Shiva pose where you turn your knee out, so that'd be external rotation. And then you do internal rotation, and external, and internal. And then step your left foot down, stand up and rest for a moment. Woo! That was a lot. All right, and now bend your knees. Let's just go straight into the dancing Shiva thing. You bend your elbows out to the side, shift weight onto your left leg, lift your right leg up, and go internal rotation, external rotation, internal, external. This is kind of like the Natarajasana pose. And then draw that figure eight. Feel how you have to stabilize now on your left glute. And release. Okay, I'm moving to the top of my mat. Shake it out a little bit. Okay, and now bend your knees, chair pose. And this, go ahead and Natarajasana arms. Shift weight onto your right leg. Lift your left leg up. And start doing that figure eight. Stability with the right leg, mobility with the left. And then we're gonna kind of like gracefully dance our way back into a lunge. All right, so in lunge, you're gonna bend your knee over your ankle. I like to get like deep into the legs in this one, and with the hands on the ground, and then when we raise the arms up, we're gonna come out of it a little bit, but it feels all right to deepen in this one, make that back leg straight and strong, spike up your back heel, tone your outer right hip, and twist your right arm up. As you tighten around your outer hips, root your feet, lengthen your spine by pulling on the ground with your left hand, and then twist deeper by pressing your left hand down into the left, and then reach up with your right fingertips. Touch down, and put your back knee down, and straighten your left leg, or right leg-ish. So shift your hips back so your hip moves towards straight. Obviously, mine isn't straight, because I've been walking so damn much, and I love it. All right. So here we go. Press your right heel down, drag it back. And that feels to me like a deeper sensation, or just more intensity at the back of the hip, but also some stability. Here's a good one to experience. Take the pinky edge of your right foot with your left hand and take your heel over to the left edge of your mat. You have a soft bend in your knee, and then really drag back on your right hip, and maybe take both hands outside of your right leg. Okay. And when you're ready, come back to half Hanuman, and then go back to lunge. And then from lunge, going to standing splits. Tone your legs, tone your outer right hip, turn your left inner thigh up, tone your waistline, bow deeply over your right leg, and press your hands down and forward. And then squeeze your left butt, lift your left leg high, and then step your left foot down next to your right. Woo. And shift your hips from side to side. Boy, those sequences would be hard to do with your eyes closed. I'm just realizing right now. All right, now lengthen your spine. Hands on your hips. Point your elbows up. Stand up. And relax for a moment. Legs together. Bend your knees. Arms out like a little dancing Shiva. Doing all the good alignment. Shift weight onto your left foot. Lift your right leg up. Go. External rotation, internal rotation. Draw the figure eight with your leg. And then whoop, step back. Lunge. So bear some weight in your arms, but a lot of weight in your core. Try to make this front shin vertical, so you've got hands on the ground. You can also put your back knee down and then make this back leg really strong and active, especially around the knee. Hug the midline with your left hip. Twist your left arm up. If y'all been doing these streams with me, you know I like this pose a lot. Basically, it has everything. So stable hips, root your feet, lengthen your spine. Pull the ground toward you with your right hand, and then exhale and twist by pressing your right hand down to the right. Okay, touch the ground, back knee down, straighten your left leg, slide your heel forward a bit, and stack your hips over your right knee. Press your left heel down and drag it back. And while you're in this shape, really connect with the sensation in your legs. So this, you can start with the front leg, front foot, flexing the foot, dragging the heel back. Don't forget the back leg either. Press down to the top of your back foot. Maybe down and back to kind of counteract if there's all this, like pressing down and forward with the hands, you counteract down and back with the back leg. Drag your left heel back. And take your pinky edge of your left foot with your right hand and move it over to the right edge of your mat. Soft bend your knees fine here. Maybe take both hands down outside your left leg. Press your heel down and drag back a whole lot. And even press your hands down and forward. And you guessed it, press that back foot down into the ground. Okay, come on back to center, heel toe, your left foot back. So we're back in half splits, then we're going to come back into lunge, curl your back toes under, lift your back knee, launch off your back foot and come to standing splits. Man, 2 blocks are really helpful here. We got rid of all the props for now. All right, so strong standing leg, strong floating leg. Lift your floating leg from your inner groin. And press your hands down and forward. Relax your head. Squeeze your right glute. Woo. And then step to the top of your mat. And just hang out in a forward bend. And lengthen your spine. Bend your knees. Plant your hands. Step back. Downward facing dog. Root all 4 points evenly on the ground. Remember, inner hand heavy, eyes of the elbows forward, hips up and back, heels back and down. Shift forward plank. Lower down to your belly. And now, reach your arms out in front of you. And press down through the tops of your feet. So much that your kneecaps lift. Now keep your right leg down and your left hand down, so press down through the pinky edges of your hands so your shoulders retract. Lift your left leg up and your right arm up. So keep rooting those other 2 points a whole bunch, and then tone your waistline and your glutes, and then lift up a little higher.
All right, calm down. Second side. So left leg's gonna root, right arm's gonna root. Take your right leg up, and then your left arm up. And keep those other limbs strongly rooted. Tone your waistline and your glutes, and reach out in both directions and lift a little higher. Calm down. Make a pillow for your head with your hands, and take a load off for a moment. Bring your hands down in line with your lowest ribs now, and press down through the tops of your feet so much that your kneecaps lift. And then lift your chest a bit, so not coming into the deepest expression right away. Now keeping your legs strong, turn your inner thighs up, tone your glutes and your waistline, then make your side body long, then squeeze your shoulders back, and lift your chin and press your throat back. And come down and rest. Okay, press up to a seat. Or let's do tabletop. And let's just go right into it, y'all. What are we waiting for? Bring your right knee forward and swing your right ankle towards your left wrist. And if you want to do pigeon on your back, you just roll over onto your back and do figure four. We'll do the right side first. So with your back toes curled under, you're going to scoot your left knee back a little bit and curl your toes under and lift your whole left leg up. Turn your outer left hip down and then reach back with your left heel and set your knee down. And that feels a little deeper then. Untuck your toes and mindfully press the top of your left foot down. You kind of squeeze your knees subtly towards each other to reinforce that strength and engagement in your hips. Bow over your right shin. Acknowledge the inherent safety of this present moment. Jen said that the other day in class, and I really appreciated that. All right, and then place your hands underneath your shoulders, prop yourself up, roll onto your outer right hip, swing your left leg around, and let's do Janushirshasana. So bring your heel into the root of your left thigh, tone your left leg, and orient your torso over your left leg. And take your sitting bones back as you hinge forward, and reach for your foot or your ankle, and you're welcome to bend your knee. So this rooting of the right leg here can really help you get a deeper stretch by rooting and kind of pressing down and back with the top of your right foot. Okay. All right, and then come up and just go ahead and swing your left foot around to the outside of your right thigh and catch a little Ardha Matsyendrasana. So you can take your left hand down behind you, prop yourself up nice and tall. You reach your right arm up and hook your elbow outside of your thigh or hit a wrap. And it's all right if your left hip gets a little light. It's totally fine. Just keep your hips kind of toned. As long as it's kind of rolling forward towards your belly and not lifting up towards your shoulder blades. From here, lift your chest as you inhale, lift through the crown of your head. And as you exhale, twist a little deeper.
Take your left shin, put it at the front of your mat, roll onto your outer left hip, send your right leg back behind you, and let's do pigeon, second side. Curl your back toes under, lift your back knee, turn your outer right hip down, stretch your right heel back, and then put your right knee down. And untuck your toes, and try to keep that consciously rooting the whole time. And from here, fold forward. You can do that gentle squeeze of your legs towards each other to create that kind of lift and engagement. And then you can kind of maintain that lift and engagement and root your legs in the other way. And you'll feel, or I feel more grounded when I do that, more stable. And for my teacher trainees in the class, that's the whole muscles up, bones down thing that we were doing the other week. All right, come on to the outer left hip. Roll on out. Janu Shirshasana, second side. These will be the last two poses. So bring your left heel into the root of your right thigh. Orient your torso over your right leg. Tone your right leg. Send your sitting bones back as a means of hinging you forward. And reach for your foot or your ankle. Remember, you can bend your knee. Remember that strategy of consciously rooting the back leg too, to kind of catch you deeper potentially if you want to, or just make you feel more stable. Come on up. This is so fun, y'all. I'm so glad that we're all here together. Thanks for doing this. So right foot outside of your left thigh. Right hand behind you. Reach your left arm up. Hook your elbow or wrap your arm. And then tone your legs and hips and belly. Lengthen your spine and twist. Come back to center. Unravel your legs. It can be nice to let's get a seated forward bend. So a little Paschimottanasana. So first sit up nice and tall. Prop yourself up. A little Dandasana. Left sitting bone back. Right sitting bone back. Left sitting bone back. Right sitting bone back. Reach forward. Alright, release your feet. Roll or ease yourself onto your back. And give yourself a little squeeze. And move your knees around with your hands. Just let your hips feel fluid and open. You could draw like a bunch of, you could make some abstract art with your knees in the air and your legs. And just let your legs extend. And rest in Savasana. Let your feet fall open to the sides of your mat and your palms rest face up. Orient your shoulders so that they make a flat surface for your heart. Relax your tongue and your features of your face. Let go of the controls of your breath and settle into the
the zone of perpetual silence. And now, if you're ready to come out, start by deepening your breath. Move your fingers and toes, ankles and wrists. And bend your knees and set your feet on the ground. And bring your hands to your torso. And roll sweetly onto your side. Press yourself up. And close your eyes or soften your gaze, coming into a nice, comfortable seat. Inhale and release the weight of your pelvis heavier on the floor and sit up nice and tall. And then exhale and drape your shoulders onto your lifted rib cage. Bring your hands together into Anjali Mudra. Press your hands into each other so that you feel your left and your right side uniting at the center. And bow your head to your hands. And feel the quality associated with this gesture. Send out a silent blessing to those who need it. Namaste. YouTube and Facebook, I'm going to sign y'all out. Thank you so much for practicing. And if you want to, it'd be so cool if you join me on Zoom next week, because I love seeing y'all's faces and just kind of getting to feel that communal energy. So next week, if you can, Zoom it up.